since you've started taking steroids, I hate when people say that, bro. It just sounds so much worse. So what I need you guys to understand, bro, please do not put me on the same pedestal as people blasting gear like Sam Sulek.
It is steroids though. The only difference is that makes them feel different is the fact that you're getting it in a doctor's office. Typically when you think of steroids, you think of like some dodgy gym guy just squeezing a needle in your butt cheeks, right? Whereas when you go to a doctor and you walk through the fancy doors and you sit in the fancy chair, you feel like this isn't steroids, this is monitored TRT by a doctor. But in reality, yeah, it's that, but it is just fancy steroids, isn't it? Firstly, for those of you that are new here, welcome to the channel. And secondly, what we're about to do is go over Alex Eubank's video addressing the hate in regards to not being natural anymore and going on to juice. And the first thing I want to put forward, period, is the fact that from my perspective anyway, it's never hate. I honestly don't know much about Alex. It's more what this whole thing represents. People are like 24 and under jumping on roids because they don't want to put the time in to build muscle, potentially going to a surplus of calories because they always want to look shredded for social media. So here is the video here. So first thing here, this bit here, apparently from the comments, this is someone called Lexx Little. So what we're going to do is, because from what I could hear, he actually was speaking sense. So I'm going to track down this video and try and see what he thinks first.
Alex Eubank make a video saying that he hopped on gear, and the whole damn video is him complaining for 5 minutes about what everyone thought of him and how he wouldn't bulk and how everyone called him small and he took shit. And then he goes, you know, despite all this, I'm doing this for myself. Really? No, it doesn't seem like it. It actually seems like you were very concerned about the opinion of others. It's just, I just wish we would have came out and said, yeah, honestly, I just got sick of being called small, so I just wanted to hop on something. You know, oh, I feel like shit, and you know, I'm doing it for myself. And it's like, dude, Alex, brother, you're just like me, man. You have everything you ever fucking want. Beautiful home, beautiful girl, good money, everything's good. What do you need that for?
I fully agree. I'm glad to see that my take on it is literally what's echoed elsewhere as well. I was saying the same thing. But let's jump over to Alex. I'm going to skip past this bit. I'm pretty sure we heard it. But I will say one thing that's very telling is the fact that Lexx said very insightful and actual proper like thoughts. It wasn't like he was being a prick about it. So for him to put a clown emoji over his face kind of, to me, is telling that you just can't deal with any criticism, because to me it just seemed like it don't really make sense. Like it didn't seem justified. It seems kind of bitch made, if I'm being completely honest. Like someone comes to you and has very good critical points, for you to then just dismiss it, I think that's not the sign of maturity.
Just like me, man, you have everything you ever fucking want. Beautiful home, beautiful girl, good money, pay the bills. What do you need that way?
Cringe. Cringe, cringe, cringe. He even used the bits where he's speaking the most sense and making the most valid points just to reply with "we're not the same, bro," and jump into like some anime edit. Cringe. Side note, he's looking more full already, to be honest. I think it's been around 3 weeks so far. He does look a little fuller.
First question, since you've started taking steroids, I hate when people say that, bro. It just sounds so much worse. Would you recommend your viewers or fans to use them too? No. So what I need you guys to understand, bro, please do not put me on the same pedestal as people blasting gear like Sam Sulek.
It is steroids though. Like 200 milligrams a week isn't a low dose, especially when you take in consideration his age, and also on top of that, the fact he doesn't really need it. The reason he's having to go on TRT is simply because the reason he's going on testosterone is simply because he doesn't want to eat more calories. His body is starving, he's been lean for too long, and his testosterone has gone down, and it's not even like ridiculously low. So for all intensive purposes, it is steroids. The only difference is that makes them feel different is the fact that you're getting it in a doctor's office. Like typically when you think of steroids, you think of like some dodgy gym guy just squeezing a needle in your butt cheeks, right? Whereas when you go to a doctor and you walk through the fancy doors and you sit in the fancy chair, you feel like you're in a clinic. Like this isn't steroids, this is monitored TRT. But in reality, yeah, it's that, but it is just fancy steroids, isn't it? But yeah, I just wanted to say that early because he's really trying to downplay, and not just him, other people in general that jump on TRT. they really try to downplay it from it sounding like steroids to sounding like it's something medically necessary, and it's really not.
I'm doing TRT. Some people even argue that I'm doing a high dose TRT to start. I'm doing 200 milligrams a week for about 8 weeks. I'm gonna get my blood done. I'm gonna see where it puts my testosterone concentration in my bloodstream. You should, as like a natural human being, be in the range of like 500 to 1,000 or whatever.
I'm not even Mr. Steroid nanograms and milligrams guy, but even I know that's not true. Your baseline depends on the person, to be honest. 1,000's pretty damn high. That's like manly man. That would be like Wolverine. That'd be like not Hugh Hefner. That would be like Wolverine. That's pretty damn high. 500 is probably more typical in the normal range. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure when I last got mine done, mine definitely wasn't that high. I think, oh damn it, because in the UK, the thingy was slightly different. Converted, mine was around 500, 600. And that being said, there's still men that have as low as 300 and still fairly function okay. So the number in itself isn't enough. It's how you function on a day-to-day basis when eating adequate amounts of food.
I'm never gonna tell people to take steroids. I never will say that. I always spoke against that.
You don't have to say it, unfortunately. I don't like the idea of people idolizing people online like naively and just following every word they do. But there's a reason why it's called influencer, because they do naturally influence you. You do have the ones that overtly say, like they'll tell you what to do. Like they'll say, come and get this product from XYZ, or you'll get those that just do something and other people do it. Like if those you remember way back when, Christian Guzman used to be obsessed with buying these Flyknit trainers. When he started doing that back around 2016, 2017, I think it was, the whole fitness game started buying those exact trainers because one of the fitness idols out there was doing it. It's the same way that a lot of people started drinking Monsters because Christian Guzman used to be obsessed with it. And even though these are much minor things, you gotta think, this happens more and more and more.
I see people like blaming me, saying that it's gonna be my fault if there's like a whole generation of like naturals now who choose to hop on tests.
Unfortunately, you will.
That's just so, like, I'm done living my life for what y'all want me to do. I'm not doing that. I myself want to be lean and feel better being lean. I'm sick of feeling like shit when I am lean. That's my decision, bro. And I actually was able to get it prescribed because I actually, in a sense, need it when I am lean. My test is not as high as it should be when I'm leaner.
Every single human, when you're eating lower calories, trying to keep your body fat down, your testosterone is going to dip down, your energy is going to dip down. That is your body and Mother Nature basically telling you, bro, go in the kitchen and cook a sandwich. But instead of doing that, you run into a doctor. This is the thing, when people know they haven't got a leg to stand on, they will just lie. Because I think it's super Christian, right? If he went in the booth and really sat down and prayed, I know deep in his heart, there's no way he believes that this is medically necessary for him. I say personally, what he needs to do is just own it. None of this like pussyfooting around. Just say it with your testicles. You know what I'm saying? Like say it with your balls. Just say, you know what? I don't care. Yeah, I may not need it, but I want it. I want to take it because I want to look dope year round. But say it confidently, at the moment, is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You don't medically need it. You want it. There's a difference.
I actually, in a sense, need it when I am lean. My test is not as high as it should be when I'm leaner. One thing I also wanted to address, the amount of people saying, bro, if you would have just bulked, you would have been fine. Bro, I don't take bodybuilding extremely seriously. I don't call it a bulk. The last year, I haven't tracked macros. If you follow my Snap, you see that I eat so much.
There's a couple of things here to unpack. So first things first, for you to jump on steroids, I'm going to keep referring to it as steroids now rather than HRT. For you to jump on that and then also in the same sentence say, I don't really take bodybuilding that seriously, to me is insane. So instead of taking bodybuilding more seriously, considering that it is technically his career, before jumping to steroids, he would want to get that nailed, like dialed in heavy. You know what I mean? Because in one breath he'll say he doesn't take it seriously, then another one he'll say that everything's dialed in. Those two don't really come together when it comes to building muscle. You're either fully locked in or you're not. So in this scenario that he's said this out his own mouth, you gotta assume that, okay, not everything's locked into 100 because it's very unlikely. Like even some of the best natural bodybuilders, period, are never like 100% dialed in. They're like around 80 unless it's like competing time. So you gotta think, instead of putting in that time to really like get into a surplus for like 1, maybe 2 years and actually pack on some decent size, rather than doing those stupid 3-month like calorie surpluses and then cutting back down after a month when realistically you've gained minimal muscle. Like a true real bulk should last at least 9 months, and that's been very, very like quick with it. I would say if you really want to pack on a decent size muscle, a full year minimum, and of proper progressive overload training if you want to build as much muscle as possible. 3-month bulks, 4-month bulks, in my opinion, are damn near worthless. So in regards to him, it seems kind of silly that he went the steroid route instead of actually like gaining a surplus. It sounds like for sure that he is too scared to stay in a bulk too long because he doesn't want his body fat to rise too high. And him saying that I don't call it a bulk, but I am eating loads of food is a cop-out, because you may think you eat loads of food, but if you're not tracking the calories and the protein and everything, you don't know. It's no different to when those tall, skinny people say that I can't gain weight. I eat loads of food, but they don't track a damn thing. You're in the same ballpark, but the opposite end.
I've been in a surplus. I have not restricted calories. I have not dialed anything in really at all. I 100% don't call that bulking. I just call it being a normal human being.
If that's the case, then you're not bulking, are you? Like, bulking, in my opinion, isn't just about eating more calories. That is a big proponent of it, but bulking is when you intentionally are eating more calories from good quality foods, high protein. Technically, when you're bulking, you don't need as much protein when you're cutting, but generally, you're still having a fairly high protein diet compared to the standard, typical, American or English diet. And you're purposely intending to progress your workouts to fuel and capitalize on these extra calories you're consuming. If you're just eating randomly more food, when you're not tracking it, you don't know technically how much protein, how much calories you're having specifically, yeah, you can't call it a bulk because you're not. Let me know what you think down below.
I 100% got bigger, and I definitely gained quite a bit of body fat during those processes. I just don't call it a legitimate planned bulk.
So as I said earlier, I'm not super familiar with him. However, I don't think I've ever seen a video or a picture of him where he's had like what class is a bulking physique. I've never seen him like, you haven't got a dirty bulk to be bulky, but I've never seen him like not have somewhat vascularity, in my opinion. Like I've never seen a picture of him and I thought, oh, he must be bulking now. I've never seen that. So I don't know when this bulk happened. So personally, I call cap on that.
So I have had periods where I had a higher percentage body fat, and I have had periods where I had a low. I actually got my blood drawn a few months ago, and my natural test was at 900, right? And then I got it drawn later when I was at a leaner body fat, and I was at 350.
So I've been going into both of these videos, part one and this one, with the thought that he's natural. But he's saying that when he's in his bulking kind of physique, like when he's got more body fat, his test level's around 900. Like he went down to 350. That's too much of a big drop for natural people. And maybe if you were like ridiculously like show day shredded, but I haven't seen, I just went through his Instagram. I went from now to this time last year. Like the very last Instagram photos I showed you were from 2023. In none of those did he look significantly higher body fat. So for him to go from 900 to 350 when not drastically looking different is very suspicious anyway. So I'm not going to say it wasn't natural before, because many other people have said that already, but I'm going to say that's definitely a red flag.
I want to be at a lower body fat while feeling good. Like I have higher testosterone. I keep seeing people being like, oh, he's blasting gear. People said I'm taking the easy. I saw people saying he's taking the easy way out. I've been training 8 years naturally. I would understand that if I was training like two or 3 years.
Even though I do agree, people that start using stuff after 2 or something years, you're a complete idiot. But just saying that you've trained 8 years naturally, in the grand scheme of things, 8 years natural isn't that much of a big deal, especially when he's currently only 24. And you also have to factor in that not all of those 8 years did you train perfectly. Like I've been training now for I think around 11 years naturally. And I've got to say that only I'd probably say of those 11 years, if I'm being hand on heart honest, 3 to 4 of those years where I really was like pushing it. And even then, my version of pushing it was still while being sustainable. Like I still work my 9-to-5 job. I've had girlfriends for this period. Like I've been very balanced with it. Like I still pushed it hard, but I wouldn't say that if I compared my training routine to when I used to train with my friend Chris, who was competing on stage and stuff at that time. When I used to train with him, his level of intensity and volume is just more than mine. So it is relative term when people say that they train hard. So in essence, saying 8 years and bragging about it when you're 24 now means nothing. The first 4 years could have been basic.
How will you prevent the urge to take more gear? It's a slippery slope that's easy to fall down. Not for me, bro. I've already been extremely successful in multiple ways in life, and for me, I want to live long and I want to have a good life. I just want to be healthy and feel good living life. I don't care about getting stupid bigger. Yeah, on the test, am I looking forward to gaining a little bit of size? Yeah. I'm not trying to be extremely big though.
From what I hear, it is like very addictive, and it's like any other drug. Once you start seeing the highs of it, you kind of want more of it, and that's when people get like bigorexia. Even though I don't think you'll probably go to the extreme of being like a rich piano type addict, I do think the dose will probably increase over time because your views change. Like not long ago, I'm pretty sure I saw clips of him saying that he would never want to jump on HRT or stuff. He wants to stay natural.
First, I hate needles. Like I know that's like probably like people might think that's just like
Yeah.
I don't like needles. Like I hate getting my blood taken. Like I hate needles, and I could not imagine myself like having to do that like twice a week for the rest of my life almost.
Yeah. 200 tests a week, HCG, some Cialis every day, 5 milligrams Cialis a day.
And his views have changed, and I think that wasn't that long ago. Like your views will change, you don't know for sure. Like the you today is not the you of like 2 years from now or even 10 years from now. So
I've been seeing a lot of Christians ask like, yo, like, don't you think you're doing something wrong by like harming your body? I don't think taking TRT at all is harming your body. In fact, I think it's more harmful in the long run to have like literally a very low level of testosterone. I don't think TRT is unhealthy at all. You're literally in a sense just replacing your natural production. Give or take, I am taking a little bit more than
he's bullshitting here. He doesn't want to like feel like a hypocrite to his faith. I understand that, but let's be real. You trying to pitch that you taking it is now actually better for your body is terrible, especially when you say it's on a public platform. Like stupid messages like that is how other people, naive people, will then do it too, because they'll say, oh, but I want to believe year round, so just like Alex, I'm gonna do what's best for me. I'm gonna use this stuff so I can still feel great while being super low body fat without having to reduce my calories too low. It's all excuses, and dangerous excuses at that, because using it is not healthy, regardless of what he says.
Bro, the amount of people that have been like saying, throwing my name around and talking, like I knew that shit was gonna happen, bro. To me, that shit's funny as hell. It's so comedy. Like I really don't. I could give two shits. To me, honestly, it's like wow. Like it makes me feel good about myself. The fact that people are able to use my name to get views or have to feel the need to speak on me, almost.
So in regards to his point of saying that people having to use him for like clout, basically, that's why he's saying everyone's using his name to get attention, to get views. There is that nugget of truth in that. But at least in my case anyway, because I'm not really super familiar with Alex, I'm only talking about him because he helps drive home the message. So my perspective is it doesn't matter if it was Alex or someone else. It could be any of these other like big influencers, to be honest, that were like natural for ages, that are fairly young and switched over. So whether it was him or anybody else, it would have been the same thing. It's more the message and what it represents. As I've talked about like more long-term natties, switching over to the dark side being a problem for like a long period. But when I talk about those videos by itself, people don't watch them. But when you attach like someone they may look up to and then talk about it, then more eyeballs are more likely to hear the message. So at least for me in particular, honestly, I don't really care what he does. It's more about what it represents. But something I will say, which is quite good, is, well, depends on who you are. For him, it's not good, but for us, it's good. Or people of common sense. If you read the comments of his latest YouTube videos, they're all just saying like, you shouldn't have done this, which is great. It means that more and more people are also seeing those comments, and hopefully the influx of people saying this isn't wise, some of them with like great details saying as to why it's not wise, that will hopefully deter some of these people from doing the wrong decision too. Because the more we can amplify that this isn't normal and getting this more normalized to the point where people are naming themselves the trend twins and all sorts isn't great. You know what I mean? I do believe that at some point fitness will turn back around, and unfortunately it's going to take like some deaths of some of these large influencers like the Joe Linda character and other people passing away that are more like in the younger gen. I think then there'll be a course correction, because people will be like, cautionary tale. The more things like that happen, is the more regular people will be like, you know what? I'm not taking that risk. And that's kind of what we want. But with that being said, please comment down below your thoughts in regards to this. And if you want to see more videos touching on topics like this, be sure to check out these video here, or watch part 1 if you haven't already.